Most of you guys know that Bill Gates made all of his money owning Microsoft, but did you know that he's the largest landowner in the United States? Did you know that the greatest investor of our time, Warren Buffett, has said that owning real estate is one of the greatest investments that anyone can have in their investment portfolio? 90% of millionaires have created their wealth through owning real estate. In this episode, we're going to break down all of the benefits of owning real estate. But you know your boys, we like to keep it real. We also going to share some of the disadvantages of owning real estate. So tap into the episode. For the last 8 years, we've been doing real estate investing and we've made millions of dollars. We truly believe that everyone should have real estate in their investment portfolio, and we truly believe that real estate is the greatest asset that anyone can ever invest in and own. Welcome to another edition of the Expose and Expand podcast show. I'm the man with the plan, Jeremy Mathis.
I'm Joshua. I'm going to give you the game, Mathis, and welcome to another episode of the Expose and Expand podcast show, where we expose you to the ideas, the strategies, the struggles, the failures, the experiences, and the people that have gotten us from zero to millions.
After we made the decision to sell our cleaning business in 2016, we were looking for the next business to get into, and we ultimately decided that real estate investing was going to be our next business. We made that decision because we were crazy enough and we heard that 90% of millionaires were created in real estate. We wanted to be millionaires, and we believe real estate was the perfect vehicle for us. So that's why we made the decision. If you didn't know, for the last 8 years, we've been doing real estate investing and we made millions of dollars by wholesaling houses, by fixing and flipping properties, and buying rentals. Yes, real estate is something that we specialize in, but we did not want the Expose and Expand podcast show to be a real estate podcast show, and we really didn't want to talk about real estate until today. We purposely waited after 34 episodes to talk about real estate. In today's episode, we're going to give you the good and the not so good of owning real estate. We're going to help you understand why we love real estate as an asset class and an investment vehicle, but we're also going to give you the drawbacks to owning real estate as well. After watching today's episode, you will understand the advantages of owning real estate. You will also understand the disadvantages of owning real estate, and you will walk away with a lot of clarity as to whether or not real estate is something for you or something that is not for you. Let's get exposed.
Man with the plan. You all right over there? You stumbled a few times, my boy.
My boy, hey, because I'm looking at your full shoes that you got under your full fit, and I just couldn't believe you decided to step out of the house like that today.
Hey, y'all tell Jern to stand up and look at what that boy got on. Look and see what that boy decided to put on. But one, I want to start by talking about the importance of exposure and how we got exposed early to real estate investing without even knowing it. Yep. And for you guys that don't know, our grandfather, he was a serial entrepreneur. Unfortunately, when we was about 10 or 11 years old, he got murdered at one of his properties that he owned. And for us, we got exposed early to owning real estate. He had many single-family properties that he owned. He had many multi-family properties that he owned. He owned some convenience stores. And that gave us the real estate bug early because we saw our grandfather and how he was able to freely to do whatever he wanted to do. And it all stems from him owning real estate.
Yeah, no, facts. Just seeing Pop, we call him Pop, just seeing that growing up, we didn't realize we wanted to get into real estate then, but then just seeing that and being exposed to it was like, oh, wow. I think it was a seed that was planted in us early, and I think all things work together for the good of those that love the Lord, and I think that was just those seeds that have now sprouted for us in our life, and it's become something that's become full circle in our family. So, yeah, like Josh said, my granddad did get murdered at the properties, and at that time, the real estate empire that he had kind of crumbled because of my grandmother. But I think Josh and I, we picked it back up, and we going back in the right direction. So I'm excited to help you guys understand how we truly have made millions of dollars. You guys are really in for a treat today, and let's get right into it.
So for us, I want to talk about the first advantage of real estate investing. And for me, one of the most beautiful things about real estate investing is leverage, right? It allows you to buy real estate using other people's money. As Jaron mentioned, we've made millions of dollars, and most of the deals that we've done, and we've been able to do that using none of our own money. So whether that's fixing and flipping or buying rental properties. So for you guys, if you're in the audience, you're watching, let's say, for instance, you don't own any real estate, you can leverage other people's money to buy real estate. or you can leverage certain type of loans or loan products that allow you to put little to no money down. So for most people, when they get started investing into real estate, they do house hacking. And then when you house hack, you can buy a 1 to 4 unit building using one, like I said, little to no money down. And you can find a loan product that allows you to put anywhere from 3 to 5 to maybe 10% down on the property, and you can become a real estate investor. So with leverage, it allows you to own 100% of an asset, putting anywhere from no more than zero, again, little to your own money, or up to 20% down on the property.
My God, you talk about stumbling. You stumble through that. You all right? You can't explain what you need to explain, my boy.
The people
need to understand this. They can't understand if you're gonna stumble through it.
The people got the word. The people got the message. Y'all understand leverage, right?
But with Josh, this is the greatest thing to me about real estate is leverage. That when you in real estate, 10 equals 100. You can, again, 10 equals to 100 when you really understand the true value of leverage. And the thing about real estate and using leverage, it's easy to use leverage or to get debt and use other people's money because it's a tangible asset. That's something that you can see. People can easily see it, and what we found is that since people can see it, you're much more willing to get a loan against it. So again, guys, remember 10 equals 100 when you are going out and doing real estate, because that is leverage. Another benefit and another thing that we love about real estate is appreciation. Historically, real estate is something that hasn't really depreciated. Yes, in the 2008 crash it did, but more often than not, real estate usually appreciates over time. And what that means is that the values continuously increase. And there's a statistic that says that the value of real estate doubles every 10 years. So if you just keep that in your mind, if you start owning real estate, if you're 20, at 30, that is doubled. At 40, it is doubled again. And by the time you're 50, 60, you have a great asset that is doubled with really not because of your own efforts or your own work. It's just because that's how real estate works. And that's one way that you can build wealth, is just through owning real estate and appreciation. And that's something that we've been able to do over the last couple of years.
So are you sure about that? You sure it doubles every 10 years?
That's what I researched, my boy. I was prepared.
I don't know about every 10 years. I see my statistics show me every 20 years. But guys, the most important thing that the value will double. Right? If you own it long enough, the value will double. Another great thing that we love about real estate is the cash flow. Like, real estate is our retirement plan. I'm going to say that again. Real estate is our retirement plan. We own several rental properties, and we're going to continue to buy more rental properties. And the cash flow that these rentals provide for us have saved us several times, over and over. It set us free so many times where we've made bad, and we've talked about some of the bad investment decisions that we've made. Those rental properties have saved our behind. And when it comes to owning real estate, people always need a place to lay their head. And for us, we're going to be the ones that provide them somewhere, a safe space to where they can lay their head.
Facts, guys. That cash flow, when you wake up and you know you got money coming in that you didn't have to work for, that is a great feeling. And that's a feeling that I don't even know how to describe it. It's a feeling that I truly believe that everybody needs to feel, that on February 1st, January 1st, March 1st, money's going to be touching your bank account because people are paying their rent. That is a feeling like no other. That is ultimate freedom, guys. Right now, as we're shooting this, we cash flow close to $20,000 per month. That's after all expenses. And the great thing about that, it's only going to grow. If we don't buy any more real estate, which we will, but if we don't, that $20,000 in 5 years will turn into $27,000. In 10 years, it'll turn into another $35,000 without us ever touching it, without us doing anything. Why? Because appreciation and inflation and the cost of rent continuously going up. Gosh, that is a great benefit.
So even before you continue, he said he don't know the feeling, guys. The feeling is euphoric. The feeling is euphoric. You get money, you see that money come into the account. And then too, I want to do, I don't think Jeremy did a great job of breaking this down, but as he mentioned, we don't have to buy any more real estate, and our cash flow is going to continue to increase. And the reason that is because the rent that our tenant pays us, that pays our mortgage. And every time we get a rental payment from a tenant, we pay our mortgage, and our mortgage balance decreases and our equity increases. So over 30 years, which we have most of our debt is long term, as our tenants continue to pay their rent, that's going to pay our mortgage, and that pays down the principal. And as the principal pays down over years, we just get more and more cash flow in our pocket.
Not only just the principal pay down, it's just every year rent is increasing 3%. Every year, you're talking about great compounding. Every year, you're going to get a 3% increase minimum on your rent payment. So that's why that money is going to continue to increase whether we buy any more real estate or not. But another benefit that we love of real estate is the scarcity. There's a lot of things that's going to be created in life. A lot of things that man can create. But one thing that man cannot create is more land. That is true scarcity. More land will not be developed. More land will not be created. So if you own a piece of dirt, if you own some land, over the long haul, you will win, because that is something that, again, nobody can create. It's here to stay. It's something that is finite. So guys, that is that's another great benefit of owning real estate, that the scarcity that comes along with it.
And with scarcity, that means that, like Jerm said, no more will be created. So with scarcity, that only drives value up. Yep. That drives demand up. So when there's high demand, that means the prices are going to go up as well. So another benefit that we love of real estate investing is the different exit strategies. You can wholesale houses, you can fix and flip houses, you can buy rental properties, you can do creative finance, seller finance. There's so many different exit strategies that we love with real estate investing. In our business, we exercise several of those exit strategies to ensure that we can create a consistent and predictable business, right? And we'll always have cash flow coming in. So I'll break down some of those exit strategies. With wholesaling, our cash conversion cycle, which means the day we get a property under contract, within 3 to 4 weeks, we're getting paid on that property. So we do several wholesale deals. For fixing and flips, our cash conversion cycle is about 4 to 6 months. So from the time we buy a house, within 4 to 6 months, we're getting paid on that. We just talked about our rental properties and the cash flow. Every month, we're collecting rental income from our rental properties. Seller financing is a way that is one of the greatest strategies, in my opinion. And I mean, I think you should tell them the story about the 12 units. We've talked about this before in the previous episode, but let's talk about it again.
Josh just gave you some of the exit strategies, and there are multiple more that we can talk about, but we're just talking from our experience. But the number one exit strategy that we love is seller financing. And what that is when the seller, they become the bank and they give you a loan on the property, meaning your out-of-pocket expense, the leverage that you have is amazing. You don't have to come out of pocket a lot of money. So if you've listened to us on several episodes, you follow us on social media, you've heard the story of the 12 units. And I'm going to go over it again quickly for those that haven't heard it. So there is an owner that I met at Home Depot. He was looking to sell 12 units in a suburb of Florida called Davie, Florida, which is in Fort Lauderdale. And he wanted 1.5. We negotiated him down to $1,050,000. And he only made us bring 10% to the closing table, and he financed the rest of that. So again, he wanted $1 million. He wanted $1,050,000, and he asked us to bring 10%, and he financed the rest of it, meaning he served as the bank. And he gave us great terms where the interest rate was very low, and we were able to cash flow fairly quickly on these properties, even though they were highly distressed, because of the terms that we agreed to and was able to negotiate with the seller. Again, guys, seller finance is one of those strategies that will help you and your family create massive wealth if you know how to do it. Any exit strategy, really. Any exit strategy, but seller financing is one of our top ones that we love.
So another benefit of real estate, which we truly, truly love, and we found out quickly that we love one of these benefits, are the tax advantages. So when you own real estate, there's several tax advantages, especially when you own rental property. So one of the tax advantages is your ability to depreciate a property. So essentially what that means is over the life of you owning a property, every year you can take losses against the property, because as you're owning that property, there's going to be capital expenses that needs to be made. So the IRS created that tax code So correct me if I'm wrong, Jeremy. I think for a property that's categorized as a single family house, a residential, you can depreciate that over 27 and a half years. And if it's a commercial property, you can depreciate it over 39 years.
So basically what depreciation is, guys, it's a paper loss. It's not an actual loss of money. It's just on paper that you lost money. So just to make you guys help you understand, if the value of your asset minus the land is, let's just say it's $100,000, you take $100,000 and let's say it's a residential real estate that is usually classified as 1 to 4 units. If the value of that asset is $100,000, I divide it by 27.5. 1 second. Let me make sure I'm giving y'all accurate number. So $100,000 divided by 27.5. That means every single year, I can tell the IRS that I lost $3,600 that I really didn't lose. There's no money that came out of my pocket, but I can deduct that against my expenses. So as you guys start to make more money, you're going to have to find creative tax strategies to go out and reduce your taxes. And this is by far one of the greatest tax strategies that billionaires, millionaires, anybody with money, they are using this tax strategy so that they can reduce their income. The reason why we started to buy even more rentals when we did a couple years back was we were wholesaling and fixing and flipping houses like crazy. And we ain't had no uncle, we ain't had no rich uncle, no old boy that we can call and talk about tax strategies. We had to learn through the school of hard knocks. We made a good chunk of change one year, and we had to pay a lot of money in taxes, and we started crying to our CPA at the CPA at the time, and we was like, bro, like, why we gotta pay so much in taxes? Man, you guys made money. Well, how can we make sure that we don't have to pay this much in taxes again? Go buy some real estate instead of just fixing and flipping it. Keep some, and then you guys can use depreciation, and you'll be able to offset your taxes. And he explained depreciation the same way I just did. I'm like, wait, so the IRS is going to allow me to write off a loss that really didn't occur? Yes. I'm like, okay, we need to buy more rentals.
And even so, I don't want to get too fancy with it, but guys, as you start buying more real estate, you could do what's called a cost segregation, and that allows you to depreciate more, because not just the real estate itself, it allows you to depreciate some items that's in the property. Another tax advantage that we love about real estate is a 1031 exchange. So a 1031 exchange allows you to defer your capital gain. So when you guys buy and when you sell real estate, you're going to have to pay capital gains, whether it's short-term capital gains or long-term capital gains. And if you are able to identify another property to buy, I think it's within, 90 days, it allows you to do a 1031 exchange, and you don't have to pay taxes on the money that you got from the sale, because you're rolling that money into another asset that you're buying.
Yes, guys. So another benefit that we love is the equity. As Josh alluded to this earlier, he broke it down for you guys. I'm not going to go too much into it, but as you own real estate and the tenants are paying down your mortgage, you're obtaining more equity in the property, which means you're increasing your net worth, and that is helping you build generational wealth, and it's helping you go out and do amazing things if you know how to tap into that equity that you're building in the property. Another benefit of real estate, guys, real estate is definitely amazing. As you guys get into it and you do it more, you're going to start understanding everything that we're talking about right now.
But then too, another thing when it comes to equity is that equity can help you build your net worth. Right? I'm going to say that again, guys. The equity that you have in your real estate can go towards your net worth. And the larger your net worth is, the larger your borrowing capacity is, right? There are so many benefits of having such a growing net worth. Another benefit that we love about real estate is it's easy to raise money. So today we did an episode on this. Previously, we raised over $30 million to fund our real estate purchases. So we've essentially been able to build wealth using other people's money. And the reason it's so easy to raise money is because it is a hard asset. People can see it, they can feel it, they can touch it, and then they can cross collateralize the loan with the asset itself.
Yes, guys. So when we put that episode out, some of you guys shooting us DMs, some of you guys were giving us a lot of praise, like, oh my God, that's amazing. Yes, it truly is, and it's amazing. But I want you to understand, it was easy for us to do it because if somebody can see something, they're more than likely able, and they understand how they can use their money to make money on it. it makes it so much easier to raise capital. It's not like we're creating a business from scratch and they don't see it and trying to raise money for that. That is one of the greatest things about real estate. That is a tangible asset and people can see it. Another benefit of real estate that we love, it is an inflation hedge. So if you understand inflation, that means that the value of the dollar increases over time. Most assets, stocks and bonds, they decrease, they increase over time, but they don't keep up with inflation. And real estate is a great inflation hedge because values continue to increase and rents continue to increase. And that protects you against inflation.
No, that was and that was one of the things that we learned early on, especially when through COVID, because after COVID, inflation went crazy. I think it got up to like 10%. And most people saw that the value of their dollar wasn't as strong, right? You go to Walmart or you go to Target, and that $100 that you used to spend pre-COVID, it ain't the same $100, right? Pre-COVID, you walk out with 30, 40 bags. After COVID, you only walk out with about 10 bags. But for us owning real estate, because of when inflation happened, the value of our real estate increased, right? We was able to charge more in rent. So as Jerm just mentioned, it's a great inflation hedge. And one of the greatest things that we love about real estate investing is it helps us build long-term generational wealth. So for us, man, if you guys don't know our story, man, we're kids from the hood. My father was in prison. Our father was in prison our entire life. My mom was a single mom. So for us, we didn't have anyone to show us how to really build long-term generational wealth. We didn't have someone to give us that example. As we mentioned, our grandfather was starting to do that, but he got murdered early on. And for us, our real estate is going to allow us to build that long-term generational wealth to ensure that we set our kids up better than what we were set up.
Yes, guys. So let me just go over the benefits before we talk about the drawbacks to real estate. Again, number one, leverage. 10 equals 100. Appreciation is number 2. Cash flow is number 3. Scarcity is number 4. There are multiple different exit strategies. It's number 5. The tax advantages is number 6. Equity, which increases your net worth, is number 7. It's easy to raise money. That's number 8. And the hedge against inflation is number 9. And the long-term generational wealth that you're able to build because of the equity that you have is it's number 10. Those are the 10 reasons why we love real estate. Now we're going to talk about the drawbacks to real estate. And the number one drawback, the number one disadvantage to real estate is the lack of liquidity. Meaning your money is tied up into a hard asset. Unlike stocks and bonds that you can go out and sell within a day and very, very quickly, real estate takes some time for you to recapitalize and to liquidate. It takes some time for you to get your cash out. And that's one of the drawbacks that we don't like about real estate.
Another drawback that we don't like about real estate is you never truly own the asset. Even after you finish paying the mortgage, Uncle Sam, you have to pay them property taxes. So for us, that's one of the drawbacks that we don't like. And then 2, sometimes one thing that we've experienced is you can't really control what your property tax bill can be. Yes, you can fight back if the county tries to increase your property taxes, but you always have to pay your property taxes.
Yes, that's something that we had to learn because when you get in and you got to be exposed, guys, and that is why this show is so awesome because we're exposing you guys to certain things that we've had to learn the hard way. When we got into real estate, we thought, oh man, once we pay this off, we gonna own it. We own it. And somebody set us down like, guys, yes, you own it. Yes, there's no debt on it, but you still got to pay property taxes. So do you really 100% own it? If somebody's still entitled to it, somebody still can take it away if you don't make certain payments. So that's another drawback that real estate has. Another drawback is the maintenance. Over time, you got to continuously maintain these buildings so that you can keep them up. The older the building is, the more the more that maintenance usually is. And that's something that's never going to change. Whether you buy a brand new house, brand new building, or whether it's something that was built in the early 1900s, 1950s, that is something that you will always have to do. And that's an expense that will always be there, which is maintenance.
Yeah. So, and that's one of the things that another lesson we learned early on, and we talked about this in previous episodes. We bought for that 12 units, we bought and it had a lot of deferred maintenance, not just to the exterior of the building, but inside the units as well. So you want to ensure that you're maintaining your buildings because that can get costly real quickly, and that is one of the ways that you don't make money in real estate. Another drawback of owning real estate is having to manage tenants and having to manage a property manager. So
let's take a moment of silence.
Oh my Jesus, man! Managing tenants and managing your property manager that's one of the things that we highly dislike about owning rentals. And when you got to understand, when you're managing tenants, you're managing people, right? And sometimes people don't know how to manage their money. They don't know how to manage themselves, and you have to deal with that. And even if you have a property manager, you still have to manage that property manager to ensure that things are going the way that you want them to go in your building, to ensure that they're not spending too much money on repairs, to ensure that they're not allowing tenants to get over on you. So that's one of the major drawbacks of owning real estate.
Yeah, that is one that to me that's one of the top ones, because tenants always got problems and they want their problems to be your problems, and then it's just always something with tenants, whether it's A class tenants, B class, C class, D, F class. It's always something. Tenants always have issues, and that's one of the drawbacks to owning real estate. Another drawback that we started to understand very quickly as we got into real estate, that this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. Real estate and real estate is built over time, meaning it takes time for you to really get to a place where you're making money in real estate, unless you come out the gate and you already have funds or you have access to capital and you can go buy big buildings. But even then, there still takes time for you to go out and be able to build up a stockpile of cash. Like we said earlier, we're close to $20,000 a month in monthly cash flow, and it has taken us 4 years to get to that point. And that's us like hustling and bustling, being in the business full time, and we're not in the business part time. So if you're in part time, it'll take you even longer to get to that amount of cash flow. So that is definitely one of the biggest drawbacks to real estate, because there are other industries that you can make money longer. I mean, you can make money easier and faster, but again, real estate takes some time.
Yeah, and that's not even just rental properties, right? That's whether you're wholesaling houses or even fixing and flipping houses, right? Because for you to start making real money, guys, when we say real money, we're talking about millions. We're not talking about six figures. We're talking about multiple millions a year net to you, not multiple millions in revenue. Multiple millions net to you. So whether you're wholesaling houses or fixing and flipping, it takes a while to get there, because you need to build a team in order to get there. And then there's a bunch of systems and things that you have to implement. We know some of the top wholesalers and fix and flippers in the country, and it took them time. It took them years to get to multiple millions net to them. Not in revenue. We're talking about net to them. And one of the other drawbacks that we don't like about real estate is you can't control the insurance costs. So especially depending on where you are, right? If you're in a state where it's heavy on hurricanes or tornadoes, your insurance costs may go sky high. So for you guys that don't know, we're based in South Florida, and most, if not all of the rentals that we own are here in South Florida, in the Miami and Fort Lauderdale area, and we have hurricanes here. And insurance companies have constantly increased our premiums year over year. So as they increase those premiums, sometimes you lose out on cash flow.
No, facts. That is something definitely that you got to understand about owning real estate, is those insurance, and that's something that you cannot control regardless of what you do. That is out of your control, unless you got like billions of dollars or access to it. You can create your own insurance company, because like we've been owning rental properties now for like 4 or 5 years. And when we first started out, some of our premiums was $2,000-$3,000 a year, and most of those premiums have at minimum doubled, if not tripled. So think about that. When we first started out, a premium was $3,000. Now some of our premiums are $7,500, $9,000. What that does, and that negatively affects our cash flow. Luckily, COVID helped us out, and we had a spike in our and what we were able to get in rentals, so that helped offset the insurance increases. But guys, that's something that you got to definitely be prepared for. But I just want to recap the drawbacks to real estate. Number 1, the lack of liquidity. Number 2, you never truly own it outright, because you got to pay property taxes as long as you own the property. Number 3, the maintenance is something that's an ongoing expense. Number 4, managing the tenants and your property manager if you have one. Number 5, it takes some time for you to build wealth in real estate. It is not a get quick, rich scheme. And the last one is there's no control or no consistency in the insurance costs. I think we did a great job today helping you understand the benefits of owning real estate and the disadvantages of owning real estate. We gave you guys everything that you need to know and provided you with enough information so that you can get clear on whether real estate is something for you or something that is not for you. I truly believe personally that everybody needs to own some real estate, because it's definitely has changed my life, and it will change your life if you own some. So definitely go out and get you some real estate. Any last word?
I just want to echo what Jerm just said. Guys, if you don't own some real estate, you need to go out and own some real estate. So whether you're just getting started, you can house hack, or whether you already have some cash, you can be an investor, right? So there's different ways that you can get started, and we talked about some of them. Again, house hacking, if you have cash, you can be an investor and you can lend on real estate deals. You can be a partner in real estate deals. But guys, real estate is an asset that needs to be a part of your portfolio.
And guys, we gave you the drawbacks, because if you've been listening to this show, you know Josh and I, we're going to give you the good and the not so good. We're going to give you the advantages and the disadvantages. We're never just going to give you make everything seem like fairy tales and rainbows, because that's not life. Every business has drawbacks. Every business has some disadvantages. Don't let the 6 disadvantages that we gave you today stop you from going out and get something that we believe is the greatest asset class ever created, which is real estate. So go out and get you some. Guys, as you know, we have our gentleman's agreement. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. It helps us continue to grow, and share this episode with somebody and expose them to it as well, because as you know, exposure leads to expansion. If you're listening on a podcast player, hit that follow button, leave us a 5-star review, and again, share it with somebody, because we want the show to continue to grow. We want to continue to expose people so that you guys can expand your life, expand your business, and expand your network. Expose and expand. Peace.
Expose and expand. Peace.